It's time!
When I eat you up, yeah, I was a lie that you can't give up. If I was to cheat, oh, now would you see right through me? If I sing a sad, 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 sad song, would you give it to me? Would you? So how you like me now? 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 Is that making love me, baby? Is that making love me, baby? Leave the past behind, just walk away. When it's over and the heart breaks and the cracks begin to show. And the cracks begin to show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Show. I am your host, Asher Blocker. With me, as always, is my co-host, Craig Watkins, the main man in charge. Craig just flew back in yesterday just for the show. Really excited about that. Craig, how you feeling?
Little jet lag, perhaps, from New York to Myrtle Beach gives you jet lag, maybe?
But he still looks good. Look at that face. Look at that profile. But we're not here to talk about how good-looking Craig is, because we could go on forever, right? We're actually here to talk about the March 11th fight card. We had an amazing fight card. Craig and I were lucky enough to be on the sidelines, spitting the ones and twos on commentary, and we had 14 big fights. It was the first time ever they did it at the Palace. What'd you think about the Palace?
It was beautiful, magnificent, perfect.
Yeah, it was different. It was a different venue. It had like, I was talking to Andy Hall about it the other day. I said it had kind of a Japan feel to it, where it was a really nice venue, but it was real quiet, and I dig it, because I'm not a big fan of all the rednecks screaming, stand them up, and all that stuff. So it was nice having a venue where like people were really respectful of kind of what all these athletes were doing. And then the fights turned out amazing. The setup was amazing. The acoustics in the place were amazing.
Yeah, actually, and everything that you just said makes a lot of sense now. There was a lot of like entertainment performance type value.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so let's, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're trying to make it a habit here, guys, that always the MMA show right after a big event, we're going to cover it with full highlight packages, like Sports Center style. Well, not Sports Center style, because they make witty jokes, and I'm not very funny. But we're going to do highlight packages for each show, and then the ones before the show, we're going to do previews. So it is highlight time, and we have some good highlights for you guys. Starting off, you ready to get started?
I'm ready and feel very safe, actually. I think we got two pretty good bookends here. They're huge.
Well, we're bookended by two manly individuals here. Can we start on your side? We have Will Gruesome Newsome fighting for Warfare MMA. He just got a big win on the card that we're going to talk about. You're going to see highlights of him beating up somebody in just a second. Will, how you doing?
Feeling good, thank you. I appreciate the nickname as well.
I gave him the nickname Will Gruesome Newsome. It was like a little spark of creativity I had one night. What do you think?
I like it. I'm embracing it.
It took him a while to come around, but he's there now. We also have beside me the giant, handsome gentleman on my right, Mike 22 Barr. Mike, I have a question for you. Would you mind answering it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I was on a broadcast last time, and I called you. I said that they call you 22 because you had 22-inch pythons, like Hulk Hogan style, or is that's not the real story, is it?
Nah, the 22 comes from actually one of my trainers, Marvin Skipper. He gave me the name. It's the size of my neck. It used to be the size of my neck. It's not anymore since I lost a lot of weight. So, but yeah, it's from the size of my neck. Yeah. So I'm a skinny guy now, so it might be 18 3/4 maybe.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think. I mean, yeah, you got a big neck, but like you don't even have like really that big of a head. Like you don't have like a Tito Ortiz head or nothing.
Really?
You really? Is it a big head? Like what size hat do you wear?
I'm not even sure. I mean, I just bought my first hat maybe last year sometime, but it's like the biggest one in the
Really?
store.
They had to like special make it or something?
And that happened all my whole life. Like playing football and everything, I had to get special made helmets, and I got a freaking big head.
MMA Show, underestimating the size of people's heads.
Bones.
All right. Let's stop all this foolishness. Here, me and you will share mics. Hand that back to Craig. And then first up, on our first fight of the night, we had Eric Bordner making his debut out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in One Punch Fitness versus Jeremiah Scott, also making his debut out of Legion MMA. Craig, what did you think about this one?
That was in my opinion, one of the best fights of the night. Probably the best fight. Jeremiah Scott? Little Jeremiah. Right?
Little Jeremiah.
Came out, he fought and then threw a head kick, which landed, and Jeremiah had weight. It was very confusing because we didn't know what Jeremiah was going to do. He had just so many weapons, displayed all of them, but we didn't know which one. Was he going to go for a submission? Was he going to go for a knockout, a head kick? I had no idea what to expect from him.
Yeah, and Jeremiah, the interesting thing about him is he's 18 years old, man. He's been, and I've actually trained him for a long time, like in kickboxing and things, and I've trained with him for a long time, and we all expected big things out of him. But being only 18 years old, you don't know how guys are going to react in the cage, and he reacted probably the best way you could imagine, which is he went and attacked the guy. He was counter-punching. Like, I thought he fought a beautiful fight. And he's the right kind of fighter because not only is he humble about it, he's hard on himself. So he's telling me all the mistakes he made. But man, big head kick, couple big right hands. The guy kept stalking him. He dropped down. Jeremiah caught a beautiful armbar submission at the end. Mike, did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah. I mean, the guy Eric Bordner, that's the guy. He came out with his hands down, everything badass guy.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I know it was Jeremiah's first fight, and he's a young kid, and I didn't know how he would react during the fight, but I mean, he showed. He's tough, and he's got a lot of promise. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, and I think what people didn't get a chance to see, and what I think is going to be big, is going to be that style issue, because there's a lot of guys you see in the cage, and a lot of guys you see that do the same kind of stuff over and over. He's not that, is he, Craig?
He's not that. I don't think he fought it. He fit his groove, found his groove yet. If it went into the later rounds, second or third round, you might see something where he's gravitating towards. I saw a whole bunch of stuff in the first round and had no idea how it was going to end, what was going to happen. He just wanted to do everything, and we don't even know, I think, what he's capable of yet, what his style is yet, anything.
I completely agree. So look forward to seeing Jeremiah. He might actually be on a Cage Chaos card that we're going to be previewing pretty soon. He's going to be taking a kickboxing fight on there. Chris Kane, who is supposed to be our guest tonight, is also going to be on that card in a big fight versus Tim Goodwin. So look for Jeremiah to do some big things over the next couple years. Real exciting fighter. All right, I'm going to take a time out to pick up the paper I dropped earlier. Talk amongst yourselves. I have saved the day. All right, next up we have Alan Lawyer at 0-1 versus Carlos Augusto. Carlos is somebody we're familiar with. Alan's also someone that fought on the last Warfare card. Will, did you get a chance to see this one?
Yeah, I did.
Let's talk about it.
First off, from the last fight with Alan Lawyer and Dennis, he showed Dennis, being his first fight, kind of nervous, you could tell, bigger guy, but Alan showed a lot of heart in that fight. And then coming into this fight, being 0-1, looking for something, to catch back on. Same thing with Carlos, but, all around, I think Carlos has improved tremendously in comparison from this fight to the gym. He looked awesome in this fight. Just needed to work on a few things as far as finishing and picking his shots more when he got hurt.
Now let's talk about the ending, because there was a controversial decision. What was controversial in my opinion, because I thought Carlos did everything. I thought Carlos landed the low kicks. I thought Carlos attacked with submissions. I said it on the broadcast. I thought Carlos did the majority of the good offensive work.
I would completely agree with that. Yeah, I believe.
Time out, guys. Hold on. What was that?
Robbed.
I just wanted to hear that. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing. I believe he got robbed. You cannot give a guy points for holding somebody up against the fence when he's hurt.
Now, what do you think that is, guys? I'm going to ask you fighters like what the deal is with that, because there's guys. It seems like sometimes the judges are looking for something different, because that fight's a pretty obvious fight. How they saw it, they saw that it was worth value that Carlos was getting pushed up against the cage by Allen. Do you think that's a valuable thing?
Now, in some cases, I do believe it's a valuable thing because there is a thing called cage control. If you are controlling your opponent the entire time against the cage and he's not able to get off, I can see what a judge is coming from, but there's a difference between when you're controlling them when you're hurt and when you're not hurt. And, he was fighting for his life the whole time.
Yeah, the way we saw it cage size, I thought he was just landing some little ticky-tack strikes, and I just didn't think there was much there. So either way, we found out what we already knew, which was Allen Lawyer is really tough, and Carlos Augusto can scrap a little bit, okay? And I think the next time that he has a decision like this, he's probably going to come out on the other end. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have Cody Fry at 145 pounds taking on Trevor Barnes in his debut. Now, everybody's laughing up here. What are we laughing at? Trevor Barnes making his debut is a bit misleading. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Craig, tell us. In fact, Craig, why don't you talk us through the fight since it's a full 8 seconds?
All right, well, apparently he comes out into the cage, does a rolling dive, does some squats. He already did more than when he's about to fight. And, of course, everybody's ready to get it on, and wha-bam. We'll wait for the big finish.
Now, what was big here is you see on screen, you see Trevor doing his little warm-up or talking to his higher power or whatever it is he's doing. Trevor, one thing about an experienced guy like him is you see here, he comes out with a plan. He drops low and ba-bang. Now, this is during the part where I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Can anybody give me their impression? Mike, you want to give me your impression? Did you get a chance to see it?
Impression of what? Just complete destruction.
Well, okay. Well, I'll give you an example. My impression was to scream really loud.
Yeah.
How did you? What was your 2 seconds like?
I mean, I was cage side and I saw it, and it was sick. I mean, it's something that I dream of. I want something like that, and hopefully one day I'll get it. I mean, that's nice. It's nice, beautiful thing.
We've been waiting to see Trevor fight a long time, and I told him after the fight, I ran back to the locker room and I said, "Man, I've been training with you for 8 years, and you just gave me 8 seconds in your debut." I thought that was kind of cool.
There was something about him I would not want to fight him because I feel like I can not me, but if I were a fighter, I would feel like I could definitely handle him or beat him. But you don't know what you're going to get, and that would scare me. A guy who's smiling and has so much fun and just is himself inside the cage, that's a guy you want to stay away from. Little guys got to worry about. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Trevor Barnes, and look at the end of this episode. We're going to play a little clip from this fight so you can hear it live with the audio, and my commentary consists of just standing up and screaming as loud as I can. All right, next up, we have Joel Porter at 135 pounds versus Brad Houston, fighting out of Legion MMA.
Houston.
Brad, we have a problem, Houston. This was actually a really good fight. A lot of transitions, a lot of movement, guys, a lot of grappling exchanges. Let's be clear here. I thought there was a very, very bad stoppage at the end. For you guys who got to see it, Will, did you get to see it? All right, let's hear an impression of what you thought of the stoppage.
To be honest with you, the guy was getting hit, but he was defending himself, correctly. He wasn't taking any hard shots, and I just believe they stopped it a little too early. Yeah, pretty much said and done.
Well, I think one thing that fans miss, and I think that judges miss too, is that you see in the position when it happens that Brad's making a hip escape. And you guys are fighters, you know how it is. It's like you're in a bad spot, you have to hip escape, and a lot of times you got to take your hands, remove them from your face, and push away on the hips, and you're going to get hit a couple times. And his base is uneven, so it's no big deal. And in this case, the referee, I thought, overreacted. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you said, when you do a hip escape, I mean, you're not covering up for a split second, and then, you take a couple shots, but, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. He was all right.
Craig, and I thought you could also tell by Brad's reaction, right?
Brad was very disappointed, but I just want to put things in perspective that this was Brad's first fight. And it doesn't really matter. If you're not dominating him after 3 rounds, okay, the ref jumped in and stopped it. You know what? You should be dominating him anyway. It doesn't make a difference. So you got an early stoppage. Would you want to win in your column? It doesn't mean that much. You need to learn from it. And what you need to learn is you go in there and you dominate him, or you got to go back to the gym and spend the time training in the gym rather than cutting weight. The dude, Brad, is nasty, freakishly strong, and I would not want to fight a dude like that either. Apparently, I don't think I want to fight a lot of these dudes. But
Yeah, you know, so Brad's a guy that don't let this result fool you. Brad's a guy that is going to come out there and fight a lot, and he plans on fighting again soon, and he's going to be good. Trust me on that one, folks. So next up, we have Rocky McClure fighting out of South Carolina Riptide MMA up against J.R. Myers, hometown guy, fighting out of Fitness Edge MMA. Let's talk about this one, guys. Mike, did you get a chance to see this fight?
Definitely, it was a great fight. First of all, I mean the intro to J.R. Myers when he came out, there was the sickest intro music I've ever heard in my life. I think the title was Awesome God, and it was amazing. But I mean, the fight was great too. I mean, JR transitioned so well. I mean, he's a scrappy wrestler, and he got to his secret weapon, and he sunk it in and got the tap. So.
Craig, you were there. What do you think about this fight? What do you think about how JR looked in general? Because, JR lost his first 2 fights, as he documented on episode 4 of the MMA Show. Plug.
where he got married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he went, maybe getting married helped.
Got engaged.
But, he turned his career around in a way because he came out in his last fight and destroyed the guy, and then came out in this fight, and this looked like it was going to be a tough matchup for him, and he handled it pretty easy. What did you think?
They switched opponents, I think, at the very last minute, but JR, it seemed like he got out-muscled a little bit for about a minute. And then, JR had to take over and do the JR thing.
The JR thing, which is choke you. Because, JR, his whole game is he's a very good defensive wrestler. This guy's a very good offensive wrestler, and that's the way I saw the matchup. So if JR could get him to shoot on him, which he did, that choke's going to be there for him all day. And JR knew it, and he fished for it, and he finally got it. And it was only about 2 minutes in. I thought he looked great.
Oh, look at that choke. Sorry.
All right. Well, J.R. Myers, we're going to be looking to see him on some upcoming cards. I know that he wants to fight a lot. I think he's at home in that weight class now, and I think he's training the right way, and he's training with the right people. He's a strong kid. He's stout for that size, and his stand-up training at Fitness Edge MMA is improving a lot. I think he's going to be giving some big problems to anybody that fights him. Will, you get a chance to see him on a regular basis. What do you think about him?
He comes in, he works hard, man. His camp for this fight, just like all of us that fought on his card, man, the camp was awesome. Couldn't ask for a better session.
Absolutely. So J.R. Myers, as you'll see him here, and I'm a big fan of J.R. Myers' celebrations. He comes out so happy. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough fighters coming out smiling and dancing.
And he just enjoys life and enjoys being out there.
Yeah, he said the worst part of it for him is the weigh-ins. He doesn't like taking his shirt off and flexing, but all the fighting part he's totally cool with. So look for J.R. Myers on your dial real soon. He's going to be fighting in some upcoming Warfare cards, and he's always exciting. Next up, we have at 175 pounds, Marty Manure versus J.R. Rumley. Now, I'm going to cut to you guys a lot here because this is the one fight where Craig and I decided we needed a break from talking so much. So, Marty Meunier? Some belligerent man in the crowd just informed me that his name is pronounced Marty Meunier. So, Will, tell me what you thought about this fight.
Marty was green. He made a couple mistakes, but all around, I thought he did an awesome job. Got an incredible judo toss, which you're probably about to see here in a minute. Like I said, he just made a couple green mistakes, but all around, you're going to see a lot of great stuff from this guy. He works hard, and that's about all you need to know about him.
All right. And Mike, you got a chance to see this fight already, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me, because this was, like I said, we took a break during this, but I've actually watched the fight now 3 or 4 times. I thought this was a fight that Marty had under control pretty much the whole time, and he just made a simple mistake. He threw a kick and went around a little slow on it and got caught with a right hand he didn't see. Do you see it as kind of like is it a win-win kind of situation? What is it? Because I thought he looked great. He has a lot to take from it. but the result wasn't what he wanted.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be a win-win situation. I mean, this is amateur fighting, so I mean, you lose, you win. I mean, it's no big deal. But I mean, it's for your learning. So that's it. I mean, he made a mistake and he took a shot, he got hit, and I mean, that's it. He went down, and that's it. Big ups to Team Rock Bottom for coming and doing the thing, but Fitness Edge, we still run it. And June 3rd, Fitness Edge will still run it.
Yes, sir. Craig, do you have something you wanted to add?
No, but that was perfect. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to need you to refrain from telling Mike he's awesome till after the segment's over and they're not recording us, okay? Next up, we have at 145 pounds, we had Aubrey Ryan versus Scott Madson. This one ended in the first round with a nice little setup for the arm triangle. I got a chance to watch this fight in its entirety because it wasn't much to it. But it looked like, to be honest, that Aubrey Ryan, he's kind of green and kind of raw, just like we talked about with Marty before. But Aubrey has the type of athleticism that I think can make him pick up things very quickly. Guys, did anybody get a chance to see that one as well?
I got to watch a little bit of it, and you hit the nail on the hammer with that one. His athleticism, it really shows. He's in and out a lot. He's got a great wrestling shot. Just for being green, he handled himself extremely well in the cage for his first fight.
Yeah, and that's a problem that I think a lot of guys have is they get in there the first time. And Mike, I'm sure you understand this, but these guys get in there the first time, man, and there's certain guys you could tell have it because they put their best skills out there, and there's certain guys that kind of hold back. Maybe the nerves get to them. I thought that Aubrey Ryan, for what he had, showed everything.
Honestly, I didn't see the fight. I was probably eating at this point, so.
Listen, Mike, when you didn't see the fight, I need you to just go, yes, Asher, I agree with everything you said.
Next time I'll do so. Sorry.
All right, moving along. In our next fight, we have Jessamine Ali versus Andy Wynn in our ladies' fight of the evening, which is always guaranteed excitement. They didn't disappoint. Throughout the fight, there was a lot of transitions, a lot of good stand-up action, a lot of submission game, a lot of wrestling. Craig, what did you think of the fight?
Still, just the walkout of Andy is incredible. And I think we're watching it right now. It's the most entertaining part of the night. It should be we should give out a walkout award, possibly. Maybe. What's up? She gets a walkout award, for sure.
Yeah, the one thing is we got a tape right after the event of the Raw video, and you can hear Craig and I talking when we didn't know the camera was on. And the whole time right here, I'm stopping all the cameramen. And I'm saying, just watch this, watch her. Look what she's doing. Like, she's amazing. Like, this is what we want, people. This is what people want to see, man. They want to see you dance and have a good time.
She is pure entertainment.
Absolutely. She's exactly what people want to see. I can't even tell you how many girls I had come up to me the week following this event and going, I want to be a fighter. And I know why that was. It's because they saw Andy doing her Chun-Li impression, dancing out to the cage and stuff,
She just makes life fun, the entrance fun, and the fight very entertaining.
Now, Craig and I are sitting here talking a lot about it, but, Mike and also Will get a chance to train with her every day. So, Will, we'll start with you. Is there one thing we noticed with her grappling got a little better, it seemed. Is that something she's been working on, or what do you think in general?
Oh, her grappling has increased incredibly, from the last few fights. And yes, at the gym, she's been working real hard, working in every class with me and Chris, just coming to class and rolling. And, that's really what it takes if you want to get better at the ground aspect, is being there and learning your things and just doing it.
Now, we saw, Mike, I'm going to ask you this, but we saw Andy dropping down for that guillotine a lot, something we saw in Carlos's fight. We know it's a staple that Marvin Skipper uses all the time. Is this guillotine, is this something that you guys are working over at Fitness Edge or what?
Not necessarily. We see something that's open, we take it. So, if it's there and continuously, we will continuously go for it. That's it.
You got a little nasty guillotine game you're working on for Joe Ray?
No guillotines. I'm not. You don't choke fat dudes. You beat them up or you break the arms. That's about it. And guillotine is not my thing. So, we'll see what happens.
Hold on, is that a rule about not choking fat dudes? Is that a rule?
Nah, it's not. I'm not
like a general rule?
No, it's not. No, it's not general. It's not gonna waste my time. He's, it's no big deal. There's other things I can do, and we'll see June 3rd, for the title. So.
Now, aside from Andy kicking ass and celebrating a lot right here, I really like the whole fight skirt thing. I've never really seen that pulled off before. Did you guys like the fight skirt?
Yeah, it's definitely hot. I love it.
What do you think about it, Craig?
I don't know, through and through, A to Z, Alpha to Omega. She is the show. Put her in a skirt. Yeah, with those little pigtails, she looks like a cartoon character. Like I want to play a video game, and I get to choose her, Chun-Li. She's perfect.
Yeah, Andy's awesome, and you're going to get to see her fight on a lot of upcoming cards because she wants to fight all the time, and she's exciting to watch, so there's no reason not to put her on there. So Andy Wynn, look out for her. Next up, we have Eric Belcher at 1-2, fighting out of Team Rock Bottom versus Cody Jones, the 19-year-old phenom out of Myrtle Beach Martial Arts. Now, Cody was coming off a loss, and I thought you couldn't come off a loss and look better than he did in this one. Tell us about it. Craig, what do you think?
I think I was drunk this round in this match.
Okay, just for the record, folks, I don't drink during commentary. That's my partner's job.
I just got in trouble.
He just got in trouble, I think. All right.
Unfortunately, this is midway during the fights, but I sobered up during some of the others.
Well, since this now, for the sake of the fact that Cody Jones is awesome and this fight's about 25 seconds, we should probably get back to it. But Will, you've had a chance to see this fight. What do you think about the way Cody looked?
Cody looked great. He looked calm, controlled. He took control, and that's what you got to do in a fight in order to to get the victory that he had.
Yeah, and I thought in his last fight, he made a simple mistake. I thought the guy went for the guillotine, and Cody didn't respect the guillotine, went for the double leg instead, and he got caught. And I thought Cody played this game a lot smarter, even though sometimes when you see guys take a loss, they change their strategy, they get a little conservative. I thought Cody stayed aggressive. Mike, do you like how he fought this fight?
Definitely, I enjoyed the fight. It was great. Big ups to Myrtle Beach Mixed Martial Arts, Jim Kaiser, but Cody Jones, sick fighter, sick. Nice stand-up, great jits, and I think he broke his arm. I don't know. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Fracture. We've got word from our stage side physician that the arm was fractured. But I thought Cody did an amazing job, man. That kid is 19 years old. He's got a good wrestling base. He's got really good jiu-jitsu, and he's got some pretty awesome stand-up. And he's been mixing up his game a little bit. And on top of it, man, he's like a humble kid with like a really great personality. If you're not a fan of him, I'm probably not a fan of you. So
Cody Jones, definitely the modest aspect when you were talking about that. That's perfect. And there's a guy that I don't think he wins, loses. I don't think it really matters. Every fight I see him fighting, I see him just gaining experience. He's just trying to kill zombies in some video game just to add to his experience points. And he might lose a couple fights in a row. It's absolutely irrelevant pertaining to his long-term career.
Well, I think, so ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, Cody Jones killing zombies in a cage near you. All right, next up, we have Creed Baitman making his debut versus the man over here to my left, Will Newsome.
Good Will Newsome.
Will, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about this fight. Let me just give you first my impression of the fight. You beat a man to death. Okay, now yours. What did you think?
After the first round, I completely agree with you. First round was kind of competitive, but when he stuck me is what made me realize, okay, I'm actually fighting now.
Yeah, he did catch you in the first round, right? I think we're going to see it here maybe in just a second. I thought you were off balance, but you tell me what you thought.
Well, I seen him. He kept wanting to lean one way or the other, so I tried to go with a big finish with a head kick, and I had him to miss right here. And just like Martin Manure, except I had him to get turned around fast enough where it didn't catch me clean enough, but it just stuck me enough to agitate me.
Now, Mike, I'm going to jump in with you for just a second. I know that when you're fighting, a lot of times in the first minute or so, like some guys are cautious because you can get caught dry. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that worded that way, but you get what does that really mean? Does that mean you just get caught early when you're not quite warmed up?
That's about it. Your body's real tight, real spastic, and that's what happens. You make a mistake, you get caught, and that's it.
Yeah, because I felt Will, you tell me, but Will, I thought that was, he kind of caught you just, like it kind of woke you up a little bit. It didn't look like it really hurt you, though.
Yeah, it definitely woke me up. It caught me in the right spot, and I'm like, oh, crap, this kid, hey, it's a fight. I got to get back on my bells and whistles and not get knocked around.
Now, tell us, Will, what you thought kind of the keys to this fight were. In fact, I'm gonna ruin you again and tell you what I thought were the keys. I thought that you kicked a lot, and that was great. I think it's good for your long frame, and you kicked a lot, and you were hurting him with him, and he didn't like him. Is that something that you saw too?
Yeah, actually I did see it, and I don't know, certain parts I decided I was going to try and be a little more flashy with him because after I threw, the first couple of kicks, he saw him. Of course, he didn't like them. But then I was like, let's try a jumping head kick. And it almost landed, but he took me down and shot right to a triangle, which I should have finished right there. But I made the dumb mistake by punching him out of it.
Now, what I was a big fan of is that in the third round you came out and, in our opinion, and I say our as in me and my identical twin brother, Craig Watkins over here, my commentator and I thought that you had won the first 2 rounds pretty handily. But you came out in the third, and even Chris Kane, your corner, told me that he said, hey, man, ease off a little bit, just win a decision. And you went after him and knocked him down and proceeded to grab him by the head and beat a hole in him. Can you explain why you didn't listen to the instructions of your corner and why you made me really happy?
To be honest with you, after my last showing, I felt like I had something to go in there and prove. And of course, that y'all always commentate on that I come out aggressive, which I feel like I do. But yeah, I'm not here to. It's a fight. I'm here to finish a fight. I'm not here to leave it up for anybody else to decide whether I'm a win or lose. I'm gonna make that decision, not anybody else.
You heard it there, folks. Will Newsome. Will Newsome is violence personified. Let me tell you. Okay, you come to a Will Newsome fight. He's gonna pretend the other guy's trying to kill him. And he's gonna walk across the cage and try to do that first. So if you ever seen Will fight before, he's really exciting. And if you get a chance to see him again, please don't miss it. All right, and Will, we're gonna let you finish celebrating on the highlights. It's a long celebration, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. No, not as long as Trevor's. And you got an actual interview. Trevor just talked.
Well,
he just
Trevor
grabbed the mic.
Yeah, he just stole the mic. He had to do his thing.
All right, next up we have Mr. Joe Hips, or as I called him, Smoking Joe Hips. I hope he didn't mind that. Versus, hold on, who are we looking for? Oh, I'm sorry. This is live. Versus Brandon Bouchaw, who brings an army of people with him that we refer to as the Bouchaw's Brigade. What? If you're at home, give me a little what on your YouTube. All right. So this fight started out actually pretty action-packed, man. Like Joe came in there to fight, and Brandon's wrestling pedigree is just you can tell it's gonna give guys problems who aren't ready for it. Mike, you get a chance to train with Brandon, you get a chance to see him in practice. What did you think about his fight? Like, what do you think about his potential, kind of?
Definitely potential. The fight game is mostly, it's 95% heart and 5% skill, and he showed that 95% heart, and because he shot in and got caught with a guillotine, and it was sunk in tight, and he escaped and, proceeded to pound him out, and his potential, it's going to be great, I think. He's a Spartan, Michigan State.
Now tell me this, and I can ask you, Will, if you like. He was in a guillotine here, and I think you're going to get a chance to see it in just a second. He got locked up in a guillotine and was stuck here for a few minutes. It looked like trouble, but then it looked like it wasn't trouble. Were you seeing it live? Did you get a chance to see it, and what did you think about it?
Yeah, I was sitting right there, and to be honest with you, I was a little bit worried because if you look closer, there is a vein bulging out of his head. That guillotine was in there really, really tight.
Yeah.
But, he stayed composed, and that was the biggest part of it. When you get caught in a choke or you get caught in something, biggest thing you can't do is freak out, and he didn't. He stayed calm and he got out.
And to all you little fighters at home, you'll notice the one thing, as soon as he got out of it, he stacked those hips up and he started raining leather. And that's the idea. If a guy's going to drop down to his back for a submission and you can get out of it, the idea is to make him pay. Now, the interesting part is, and Craig, I'm going to cut to you on this, but we were sitting in the commentary booth, and as he's punching him out right here, I said that none of these punches were getting through and that the ref definitely wasn't going to stop it yet. Immediately after he jumped in and stopped it. What do you think?
Same thing as before when we spoke about the earlier fight with what's his name, Brad Houston, where look, you were getting dominated during the fight. You had one good shot to end it. Apparently, we saw a vein pulsing, according to Will Newsome. And when the vein pulses and you give it everything you have and you don't have anything left, and then the ref comes in, maybe an early stoppage. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The fight wasn't going your way. So what difference does it make? Put up a loss, you gain, you learn, get better at the gym, fight another day. It doesn't matter. Somebody's got to win the fight. It might as well be the guy who was dominating you the entire time. Sorry.
There you go. A little emotion by my co-host, Craig Watkins. He's like, get it together, guys. No, but that's actually a very good point, and I completely agree. In the same token, too, it was a different situation. Brad Houston was fighting out of his, and he had just got put in that position a couple seconds earlier. The difference between this one and that one is Brandon was controlling his opponent's hips, and the referee's yelling, move, 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 move. And if you're a fighter, you understand that if a referee tells you to move and you don't, you know what's coming. Am I right about that, Mike?
Definitely right. Move. Stop getting hit. That's it. Stand up. Get up.
Right. It's sort of like if Mike was on top of me, a ref would probably pull him off of me, right? If he was on top of me. They'd be like, this guy doesn't have a chance. Well, when you're just raining down punches on somebody, even though you're equal size, it doesn't matter. The ref still sees Mike Barr on top of little Craig. So they're going to stop him. Right?
Well,
Is that an analogy or a
Well, yeah, for
analogy?
sure. But I think if Mike Barr was on top of you, the athletic commission would storm the cage and say, what are we allowing to happen here in South Carolina? All right. No, but next up we have Cole Yarborough versus Jeremiah Slingblade Golda. Now, I'd be lying to you if I tell you that Jeremiah wasn't a little close to my heart. So I was definitely, it's tough as a commentator because you're trying to be completely biased, but I knew Jeremiah was in a really tough fight here. I knew going in. We said on the preview on last week's episode, I think Andy Hall actually said that this was going to be a big fight. It's going to be a tough fight for Jeremiah. He's only 1-0. This kid's had 5 fights, got a couple knockouts, and he's really good. And he kind of showed why at the beginning because he hurt Jeremiah, didn't he?
I love that guy like a brother, Jeremiah that is, and I thought he was really hurt. He was hurt. I didn't think it was looking very good for Jeremiah.
Well, and even his corner told us later that it looked like when he was grabbing a leg and he was getting the hammer fist to the side of the head.
Right.
The guys that we know in his corner, they all said that, look, if they'd have stopped it at that point, we wouldn't have had a problem. But they knew what I knew on the sidelines, which is Jeremiah is as tough as they come. Let it be known. Jeremiah ain't quitting, okay? So he's
Kind of like a zombie coming after you?
He is a zombie. They call him Slingblade, for God's sake. Okay? This kid comes to fight, and he's going to fight you the entire time until you put him away. And so far, no one's been able to put him away. So in this fight, he got hurt several times, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. Did you get a chance to see it, Will? He got hurt several times and was able to come back. Talk about that as a fighter and kind of what that means. Is that something that, did you think most guys possess or only some guys have or what?
To be honest with you, that takes a special person, to come in and take a shot like that, and especially when you're allowed the opportunity, to have that split second to recover and you come back and finish a fight like he did, that takes a special fighter to do something like that, and not a lot of people carry that.
And Jeremiah ended up getting submission of the night that night, and I thought well-deserved, in fact, because, if you look, you can actually see him in the corner here in our highlights, but, he's bloodied up, and he's, breathing hard, and you look at both guys, and you go, man, this guy's in trouble. But, in fact, Jeremiah came out, and he just decided, I'm not going to take no for an answer.
Exactly.
And he went out, and the guy Cole Yarborough throws a right hand, which he'd been throwing the entire time. Jeremiah was dropping a lazy jab, which he knows not to do. Cole was countering with the overhand right, and he was scoring. He hurt him a few times, and then Jeremiah just said, you know what, I'm not going to let this hurt me anymore. He ducked under it, caught a choke, and I thought it was beautiful. Craig, tell us about what you think about Jeremiah's progression and how he's moved forward as a fighter.
Well, I really think he's not really comfortable yet. I don't know. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's very good at jiu-jitsu. Here we see him locking up a head and arm triangle. He's very good. We know he's ready to stand and bang. I don't know if he might get hurt sometimes doing that, but the submissions is going to be his game. We haven't really seen too much of it yet, but he's going to be gunning for them sooner or later.
There's a lot of things in fighting that you can't teach. And these are kind of age-old adages, and a couple of them are heart, determination, stick-to-itiveness, that kind of thing. And that guy's got it in spades.
And he trains every single day.
Every single day. So there's no situations he doesn't see because he trains all day, every day. So good luck hitting that guy in the face and hoping he goes away. Yeah. I don't envy anybody who has to do that.
His next opponent, have fun.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun. Even if you beat him, I don't know, have fun, I guess.
Yeah, kicking Jeremiah's ass is not going to be fun for any dude. All right, and next up, we're going to keep the card moving. We actually only have 2 fights left. We have our main event and our co-main event. First, we're going to start off with Sumner Martin at 5-1 out of Team Rock Bottom versus Walker Vivian at 5-3 out of Fitness Edge MMA. Now, I must note that this is a fight that I was really, really, really looking forward to. I had watched a lot of tape on Sumner Martin. Obviously, like, Walker's from Myrtle Beach, and I've known Walker for a long time. I've actually cornered him a few times. And, you know, it seemed like he had a great camp. He told me it was the best camp of his life. And he said he came in feeling great. It was the best he ever felt in the locker room before the fight. You know, but once he got in there, he made a mistake. He got caught with a guillotine. You know, you guys train with him. Will, talk us through kind of what you thought about the fight.
To be completely honest, I mean, you know, like you said, Walker felt great. You know, he looked great in camp. Coming to this fight, to be honest with you, I thought he was going to run all over this kid. And I believe, to be honest with you, I believe that's why he got caught, because the overconfidence may have been the key and the reason why he lost. But, you know, who knows? You know, fights win or lose at any time. Anything can happen at any time, so you never know what's going to happen.
And let's be clear, Sumner Martin can fight. You know, I've seen Sumner Martin fight a few times, and he's very good, and he was not intimidated at all. And I thought that he had a great game plan. You know, it looked to me like, you know, he knew what Walker's game was. Walker comes in throwing kicks, and we know that Walker's game is kicks. Am I right?
I completely agree.
Yeah. So he comes in, throws a kick. Sumner catches it. Walker reacts a certain way. He goes to pop back up really fast, like you see in MMA a lot, and Sumner grabs that neck and puts him away. You know, Mike, you got a chance to see the fight. Tell me what you thought about it.
I mean, once again, I mean, mistakes happen, and, you know, he made a mistake, and he got caught. And guillotine is a hard thing to defend, and unfortunately, he defended it the wrong way, and, I mean, he got submitted. But, I mean, he'll come back strong, and, I mean, he's got all the talent in the world, especially Muay Thai. So once he works on jiu-jitsu and wrestling, I mean, he'll be the complete package. I mean, we didn't really get to see too much from him, but, I mean, I believe in the future, we'll see greatness out of Walker Vivian.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. And we talked about Aubrey Ryan earlier as being a guy that really maximizes his potential in the cage. And Walker's, I think, is a great example of a guy who has amazing potential, and then we haven't quite seen it yet in the cage. You know, Craig, is that something you would agree with?
Absolutely. Well, actually, you know what? No, you always told me that, and I actually believe you because I see it.
Yeah.
But every time you tell me what to look for,
yeah,
I see it everywhere with Walker.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's amazing, though, is everybody is actually, a lot of times, even during his last fight, they would talk about some of the things that Walker is not doing. And it's kind of, it's amazing to me because you have a whole entire brotherhood training together, but they're trying to, like, help everyone by discovering some of their faults or some of the things that they might be lacking. Mm-hmm. Walker has every skill to beat everybody in the state, in the country. It doesn't matter. Why don't we see it consistently from fight to fight? It just, there's something lacking in, like you said, the game day type stuff or something.
And there's a way to fix everything. And sometimes it can be particular skills. Sometimes it can be you need to cut weight. For Walker, I think it just need to be, once he finds the right mindset and the right mentality and takes the right tactics, I think he's going to run through a lot of people. And the only guys that say that are the guys that are in the gym getting their asses kicked by him every day. So look for Walker in the future, man. I'm telling you. I've told you before. I'm going to tell you again. This kid's going to be a beast, all right? So don't sleep on him. Last but not least, we had the main event, which is a very eventful main event. I think you guys would agree. In Hector El Toro. I'm not even going to try. Hector El Toro Urbina Cervantes versus Tomar Tebow Washington, a very popular fighter here in Myrtle Beach. Heavyweight action. Guys, tell me what you thought about the fight. Craig, Will, either one of you.
Well, I'll just start off by saying he's big. Tebow Washington, Tomar Washington is big, black and bad, and I ain't saying nothing about it. I have two words. Wah, wah, but you can take that as anyway. It's not. We got two bookends. So.
Tell us what you thought about the fight, Will. I mean, you saw the fight. I thought that, here's the way I saw it went down. I want you to tell me what you think's different, or if you agree, is that I thought that Tebow, he came in there and he seemed a little lackadaisical. I thought he caught a knee, okay? The knee, I thought, landed pretty clean. When I saw the replays over and over again, I thought it was a little suspect, but, like, I always go back to the fact that I'd never judged Tebow because Tebow's fought a long time and he's a tough dude. On top of that, he got struck in the back of the head. He had some firepower in there. I thought he actually clipped Urbina a couple times. But outside of that, it was a foul field affair, and then at the end of it, they just kind of called it a no contest. So tell us what you thought about the fight as you were watching it. Like, what do you thought about either foul, anything?
Really, I kind of agree with you on it, Asher. Like the knee to the groin shot, anybody could see it as, if it hit or if it didn't hit. And then after that, it was like, okay, Tebow's like, I'm ready, I'm here to fight. And he had that quick flurry, he rocked the guy, got the scramble to the ground, and the elbow to the back of the head, I don't care how tough you are. You take an elbow to the back of the head, man, it's going to hurt. Now,
absolutely.
Me, it might not hurt as bad because I do have a plate in the back of my head. Let's not tell anybody that.
And Mike either, because apparently we learned today he has a big-ass head.
But, anybody who takes a shot to the back of the head like that, it sucks. And it sucks to be in that position. And it's all about protecting the fighters. A fighter's here to put on a show. What's the point of getting him so hurt that he can't come back?
I agree.
So,
and I thought, it kind of looked like a sense of urgency in a way. And Mike, you tell me, you saw the fight as well. But when Tebow got the groin strike, they gave him a little bit of time, and Tebow looked like he came out firing hard. Now, I will say that Hector did a good job of absorbing all those punches. He didn't seem to blink, but Tebow was hitting him with big shots. Like, what did you think about the fight?
I mean, as far as the groin shot, it looks suspect, but I talked to Tebow not too long ago, and he said that his cup was, I think, a little bit too big, and it flipped to the side, and once it flipped and he got caught, the cup caught a nut. And when your cup catches a nut, it hurts. And
No, this is on the internet. We can say whatever we want.
We can say anything we want. It's just nut. But anyway, he got caught. And it hurts and it affects you. But once he had the time off and they gave him some time. He came back and he threw some shots and big ups to Hector. He absorbed a lot of them and went to the ground and the fight didn't go the way that we all wanted to. We want to see an action-packed last match and it just went to hell, but it's all right, So
according to Andy Hall, our promoter, we're looking to do a rematch on March 3rd. Is it? June 3rd, because March was last month. I need sleep. No, but June 3rd they're looking to do a rematch. It was an unfortunate ending. I don't think it was a big deal because I thought there was so many fights that night. Such a great venue at the Palace Theater, which has never been done before, and we're going to keep doing it, Warfare Fighting Championships. So to me, it was just like, it's unfortunate, but we saw 13 amazing fights before that, and you're going to keep seeing lots more fights featuring Tebow. Might see that rematch again. Hopefully we do.
Question for you, Asher. What would you do for the main event again? Would you put the rematch as the main event the next time? How do you feel about that?
That's a tough question. I don't know. It kind of depends. If I was a promoter, if I was Andy Hall, which would be amazing because I could get more dates. I could be taller. I'd be drunker. Smoother. Yeah, just being an all-around better dude.
A better heckler.
Outside of all that, if I was Andy Hall, what I would do is I think that'd be a great rematch. And what's great about these cards is I think that, to be honest, I think the main event, and be it boxing or be it the UFC, sells a lot of tickets, right? A lot of people are interested in the main event. For me, and this is going to seem like I'm just shilling or I'm just like copping out on an answer, but I cared on this card just as much about the first 3 fights as I did about the last one. So there is really no main event for me. I think I like seeing good fights with quality guys, and I thought we got that. And I think we're going to get that every time from now on.
Well said. Good politician. No, I'm just perfect.
All right, well, that's it for us, folks. So stay tuned. On our next one, we're going to, instead of reviewing the card, we're going to preview the next card. We got a big Warfare card coming up at the Palace. It's going to be amazing. If you didn't go this time, the venue is the sickest venue there's ever been fights. That's not an exaggeration. I just checked in my brain. It's not an exaggeration. So make sure you come out to those. We're going to give you guys tons of content that's going to preview those events, tell you who all's there. And real quick before we leave, I might not get to see these guys again, so let's real quick get Mike. Tell us when you're fighting next. Tell us about what you got going on. Sponsors, do whatever you want.
June 3rd is the next fight. It's going to be against Ruthless Joe Ray. June 3rd at the Palace Theater. Training camp started maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's going strong now, and we'll continue to get better throughout the coming weeks, and I'm really excited about it. Joe Ray is a big guy. He's undefeated now, you know, and just want to get rid of his O, you know, give him his first loss. So I know he has like maybe 2 fights before he fights me. So hopefully he will come out victorious in all his fights, and I will take his O, you know.
Very nice. So look forward to that fight coming up on the next Warfare card, because you'll probably see it. Just check on Facebook, check everywhere. There'll be a giant poster that they had to supersize to fit these 2 giant badass dudes on it. So South Carolina State Heavyweight Championship, son. Next up, Will Gruesome Newsome. Will, what you got coming up? Talk to us.
May 12th, Rocket at 5 at Mooresville, North Carolina, at Lake Norman. Would have liked to got with a guy. Look, I would have liked to have had a better opponent with a little more experience, but you know, in this game, I'll take what I can get. Dude's name's Chris Irwin. He's 1-0 out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, modern MMA. Just looking forward to putting on a good show up there. You know, looking forward to coming back to Myrtle Beach with a victory under my belt.
Now, question: Rocket the Dock, is that on an actual dock?
It's lakeside venue. It's outside. People people pull their boats up and watch the fights.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty
Pull
sick.
your boats up and watch a fight? Where is this? Is this in heaven? All right, guys, we're going to be right back. More MMA Show on your dial coming at you. Give me a little something. Give me a little peace sign. Give me a little, like, ouch. Yeah. All right. Back at the Palace Theater for Fight at the Palace Warfare 4. This is our 3rd fight of a scheduled 16. This is at 145 pounds. Both of the guys making their debuts, Cody Fry out of Jamon Spade Boxing and Trevor Barnes out of Fitness Edge MMA. Oh! That's a big shot! That's a big shot from Trevor, and it is over, folks! It is over! And he is hurt! What an amazing knockout! I'm screaming! Trevor Barnes! We've been waiting to see this guy fight for a long time. We finally saw it. Craig, what do you think? We're also going to preview the upcoming Warfare card, which is this Saturday, December 3rd, and we are psyched. Are you psyched?
Yes.
All right. Nothing else to talk about now. Let's get this thing started.
All right.
Want to do it again?
You're killing me with the microphone.
I did it again.
Oh,
I felt it.
wait,
I felt it that time.
You're good.
I did it.
You're not good.
I did it. Sorry. Let's do it again.
You keep holding it up to your mouth.
Ashley Goble, will you marry me?
Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
What are we supposed to say here? Hey, we're out. Quick commercial break. Quick commercial break. We'll be right back.